So in this podcast, I'm going to tell you how to take the next steps to your dream life. Christmas is a weird time for people anyway, let's face it. You know, it brings out the best and the worst in people. And, you know, sometimes the people around you, no matter how much they love you and they want to be your supporter, they drain you. I think what happened was because I got divorced, I got sued, and I had to build myself back. I was taking every opportunity because I was so grateful for any opportunity, frankly, that found me. When we first started dating after my divorce and everything else, Sergio and I were a bit of a joke to people, and now the joke has turned into something quite serious. And this year, no joke, we will be developing over $50 million worth of real estate, and that's just a fact. You can pull it apart any which way, but that's what we're doing. Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored, and it's the first of the new year. So welcome back to, I don't want to say new me, new year, or any of that rubbish. Today I'm actually going to get in and do my vision board with my husband. We've got everything all downstairs, and I'm really looking forward to the growth. So I like who I am. I've spent a lot of time getting to where I am. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. So it's not a new me. It's a maybe more honed in, refined me, I suppose. I'm exactly where I want to be. And now I just want to elevate that. And I think that's a really comfortable place to be. I'm very sure of myself. Christmas is a weird time for people anyway, let's face it. You know, it brings out the best and the worst in people. And, you know, sometimes the people around you, no matter how much they love you and they want to be your supporter, drain you. They, I don't call them dream crushers, but you can kind of tell them when you're winning, and then you kind of see them wince. And, I used to I guess probably for the last 3-4 years, I was so scared because people have ingrained in me that don't tell people what you're doing because they're going to, ruin it for you, or they can fuck it up for you, or they're going to, and the trouble is that's just who I am. If I'm excited, and the whole world's going to know about it. And then I thought about it because I watched somebody else. And I guess it's like everything in life. You can always find someone that agrees with you somewhere. And they were like, well, what's written for you is meant for you and will always find you. And I truly actually believe that, if it's yours, no one else can fuck it up. They can have a damn good try. And if they manage to, it wasn't yours anyway. And I don't want to change the joy that I have in the wins that I have. And I remember after all the difficult times I've had, not wanting to tell people because I was so scared of having it ruined for me, because there have been a lot of people who wanted to ruin things for me in the past, or felt that my journey should have been their journey, or that I've got lucky, that awful word, lucky. I was, what's so lucky about my journey? It's not luck, it's bloody hard work. And luck is a patronizing way of, making people feel better about maybe they not achieving what I have or other people have. I don't consider it luck. When I see my friends really win, I'm like, wow, they really put effort and time and focused on it. And this year, I think what happened was because I got divorced, I got sued, and, I had to build myself back. I was taking every opportunity because I was so grateful for any opportunity, frankly, that found me. And I think when I was in something like Housewives, I was so used to the girls sort of shitting on anything I said. I just didn't say what I was doing. If you watch the show now, it literally looks like I didn't have a job. Well, I was running probably about 6 different jobs or 8 different jobs, building everything you see today. But I never spoke about it on the show because I was so scared. Well, how can you share what you're doing with girls that literally want to pick apart your life all the time? It's pointless. I'm going to go, oh, I've just done this. And they're going to go, sit behind my back and somehow try and literally ruin it for me. So I just shut up and let the rubbish come out of their mouths about what they were doing. And I think now everyone sees it here. The interesting thing is people, as I said, they want the end result. They don't want the journey, right? And I don't think you can get the end result without the journey, obviously. It's the grit in between, the sleepless nights, the panic, the worry, can I do this? The looking at how to work the system, if you're in property or whatever. When I started learning how to, play the bank in a way, so that, and when people say, it's not easy to get loans and mortgages and all the properties to pay for each other and tenants and do them up. And, in the meantime, maybe you're doing two up and then one isn't rented out. Like, you're always holding on to your hat. Building in Bali, when we first bought in Bali, now it seems like a great idea because everybody's there, right? But when we were there, none of our friends were there. I've been to Bali twice in my life. That wasn't like high on my priority list, considering all the things I wanted to do in Dubai, now in Pemba. And all of these things came because we took risks, and I think it's an interesting time because actually with my retreats as well, I've understood now that you all want the business advice. And it's not that I'm the best businesswoman. Obviously, there are women far more successful than me, as well as women that look up to me in different fields. But I think what it shows is the resilience of all the things that I've always come back and taken every single thing on with joy, right? And I think my superpower is my happiness, no matter what. Of course, I've lost things that I really, really wanted in life. And I get nervous all the time that someone's going to fuck something up for me or it's going to be taken away from me because I've had things taken away from me. But, at the end of the day, that means I can't not do it. I'm in one of the fastest cities in the world. If it's not me, it's somebody else, right? And I think now, as I said, when we first started dating after my divorce and everything else, Sergio and I were a bit of a joke to people. And now the joke has turned into something quite serious. And this year, no joke, we will be developing over $50 million worth of real estate. And that's just a fact. You can pull it apart any which way, but that's what we're doing. And I don't really know how it's come about, other than if you don't ask, you don't get. And if you don't do, you don't get. And ladies, a minute ago, I was struggling to make this house work, right? And to build it and stay in rent a house for my family and keep my job going and employ all the people that I still do employ, that have been under my wing for years, and not to let everybody down, whilst also maintaining some sort of normalcy for me as well, so that it's not just me being a cart horse for everybody else. I think, the better I do, the more now I see people drop off, which is interesting. And this year, actually a girlfriend, I had lunch yesterday with a girlfriend, and she said something really interesting. She goes, I cleared out about 80% of my friends. And I was like, oh, I've been thinking about like who is going to finish this journey with me, who isn't. And there's some friends in life that are only happy when you're down, right? So they're the best friends whenever, if your life is falling apart. But the other side, they're not interested. So I was like, how did you do that? She goes, well, I simply stopped chasing. And it's not chasing. I think she said, I didn't reach out to anyone this Christmas to say Happy New Year or Happy Christmas. I want to see who came to me. And I was like, well, that's really interesting, because I sort of pile off a list of Happy New Year, have the best time. It's absolutely right. And she said, I just decided to reply, not to write. And I think, even with family, like this Christmas I had, it was just me, Jem, and the kids. And I think no matter what, because we've been through certain things, even that's difficult, right, to maintain. It's like, I've realized that friendships, family, I don't have to accept certain things in my life anymore. I'm trying to make old friendships work because they're old friends. And I believe sometimes in life, keeping your old friends, and it shows who you are. And I've got a lot of old friends. But then if they haven't moved with the new you, or they don't like the person you're becoming, or you have to dumb yourself down and watch what you say in case you trigger something in them, I've realized that's not a friend, right? That's not, I want to be authentically who I am, right? Like me or not, I think that's why all of you guys are here, why everybody comes on the retreat. And I've just realized, by the way, my new retreat is on the 17th of February in Sequoia outside California. And it's Year of the Horse, which is really, really weird because it's comfort zone, independence, adventure. So if that's not calling you, ladies, I don't know what is, because I didn't plan that. It's the first day of the Year of the Horse. So I can't wait to meet the ladies that have already booked. But anyway, if you're unable to come on that journey, there's plenty of other things that we're going to be doing this year. And, but the retreats have become incredibly important because what they actually do is connect like-minded women. If you're called to something like this, you kind of think all these women think the same. And, that's what I've realized, because a lot of women come on these trips and they're exactly like what I'm saying, is like they feel let down by their friends, let down by their family. Suddenly maybe they come into money and then families tend to think that they're due it. And I find I tend to do that, by the way. Like if I've done really well for myself, I don't tend to tell my family in case anyone puts their hand out. Or says you owe me something, or, you just don't know. And, I felt a little bit like that at Christmas. I was like having a lovely time and we were all sharing, what we've achieved this year. And then the next day it all went to shit because I feel like I triggered something maybe in my family. And, suddenly I'm now paying for it. Like, they want more. So I've understood now that not everybody, it may not even be intentional, by the way. I don't know whether these things are intentional or it's just, as you said, it's just a trigger. And somehow you make people uncomfortable when they see that you really are succeeding again. I think when I was on my knees and sort of broken and like at the end of Ladies of London, the end of my business, the end of my marriage, the end of, in a lawsuit, like everybody wanted to comfort me, right? And to have gone from there to where I am today in what is, relatively short period of time, I think people are kind of going, well, how? Or who helped her? Or, it's that awful thing of like, somebody must have given her a leg up or given her this or given her that. No, I built all of this off pretty much $25,000 cash. Like I built it all back just because it was an interesting quote I heard the other day. No one hustles more than a woman who has to. And that's absolutely the truth. And that's why when I see these women going, but you have all this. Well, look, I have an asset in the UK, but can't sell it, so that's not helping me right now. I mean, that's just tied up money. Great. I'm sure one day it will. The UK is all over the place right now and it's not the time. So, no, I don't have this secret bank account that just feeds me. I just get up and find ways to do it. There are loans to start a business. There are mortgages to buy your first property. There is ways to remortgage something to get money out. There are all of these things available to you. It's just whether you're going to go and look for them or you're going to go and sit down. Sometimes a lot of these wealthier women or women that have, been married and then left with nothing, they don't even look around their house. I had a really good look around my house at what would support me at that time. And yes, there are uncomfortable decisions. Maybe you have to part ways with things that you loved or, you bought when you were younger and happier times and they've got memories. But those, I made peace with all that by saying to myself, I was meant to have that to bring me here, to give me the money I needed to do this, right? You can't have everything in life. And sometimes you need to struggle. Right? The struggle is what makes you understand when the good parts have come. I can see with clarity now where my year is going and where my focus is going and what my life is going to be like, which is really, really nice because I think I've been in that spiraling place where you're like, what the fuck? And you just go any which way. You make terrible friends. You make people that don't align with you because you don't even know who you are. So how can you align with the people around you? You can't, right? So you're all over the place. And now I'm so centered. People are like, you've changed. Well, yes, I have. Because number one, yes, I love a good party. Like, I will be the first to do a headstand into the car and have an absolute blast. And I never want that to be taken away from me. Sergio has tried to dumb that bit down of me sometimes, but I will. And the more anyone tries to do that, I'll be doing 2 headstands out of the car. I absolutely enjoy to have a crazy night. Now, if I had a crazy night and I was crying, or I don't know, feeling terrible the next day about my behavior or things I said, then yes, I would stop. Right? But I don't. I do believe that all women, especially when you have children, businesses, home, you need to let loose, women and men. It's really important that you have every single side of you. Just as I've always said, if you're paying bills, you need to go and buy yourself whatever it is, get your nails done, get your hair done, get the handbag, get dressed in the morning, because that is the other side, right? You have to, here I am out of bed, just washed my hair, haven't got any makeup on. Last night, I was glamorous and going out to an amazing dinner. That is every side of me, right? You see all of it. I've got nothing on my skin, then you'll see me, looking amazing. I want to show you that every side is just as important as the other side. Just because I'm a businesswoman doesn't mean to say I can't, do a headstand into a car if I want. Why not? Why can't I do that? Because it makes me giggle, right? And I want to giggle. I love a belly laugh. Nothing gives me more joy than belly laughing. Life can be too serious, and we have one shot at this. So, I'm working, I'm keeping, if I wasn't getting up in the morning and functioning, and I was like, reaching over for the bottle or a cigarette or whatever, then yes, okay, let's all have a look at me. But, I can do that and then not touch anything for like weeks. And that's enough for me. One blowout with my friends, rolling around the floor, the good friends that don't judge you and go, and then come back and, be responsible. And, I did all of Christmas. I do all the stockings. And by the way, why do we do that? I was thinking about it the other day, like, I have a secretary. She's my business secretary, and my ex is like, have we done the gifts? Have we done that? Have we done this? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, why do we need to organize everything for the kids when you're divorced? Why can't their secretary take on half of it? Like, because my business secretary isn't my business secretary. She's not my kid's secretary. Like, if my kids had a secretary, then, surely we'd split that. I have a full-time business secretary and we run many businesses. And like, I just don't understand why the women are just automatically the organizers, absolutely everything in life. And that's it. That's just how it's going to be. I think this year I really realized, taking it all on and looking at all, my kids are now they're turning 16. And my daughter's 19. I don't know if I would do it again, like, unless it's a big Christmas. It was just me, the kids, and my ex this year. And honestly, it's not a lot of fun for anyone anymore. It's not that, we don't get on, but like, I think we trigger each other in different ways. We don't bring out the best in each other anymore. I think we've both moved on. I'm sure he'd rather be somewhere else, and that just sat round a table looking at the turkey. The kids are teenagers, so they want to go out afterwards. He's taken time off to sit here. He's sitting in my house, probably looking around my photos, my this, my that, just, checking out where I am in the world now. I think it's too close. No need. And, I was going to go to New York, actually. I wanted to take the kids to New York. And I think next year I'm going to say whoever wants to come, comes. And that's it. I don't want to put myself through it anymore. It's like, I know it's a funny time, unless there's just a ton of other people in the house. For what reason? It's just, it's just ridiculous. And, it's not for me to work all this hard to get to Christmas and then be sat there by myself, biting my tongue all day. Like, why should I in my own home? And I think, I've done that for long enough. And, so unless there's a ton of people coming for Christmas Day, I don't think I would do it again the same way. But it's just a funny time of year, because if one partner or ex-partner is doing better, or I don't know, I just feel like, can you really be friends? Can you? I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know whether it just drags up old shit that you just don't need dragged up. I think we're all in a very nice place where everyone can do their own thing. Everyone has their own lives. And that's it. If, the shit hit the fan in the future and something awful, I need to pick up the phone, you pick up the phone. But other than that, you just need to separate. And, that's where I am. And that's where Christmas has taken me, I think, because it's the first year we didn't have any guests. And, I think, as I said, even though you have a parent that's like the father of your children, obviously, again, there's a slightly competitive side, I think. And, I think there's a side where people get just triggered and jealous by certain things, even though if they don't want to. And, I just don't, I never really look at anybody else in that way. It's really weird. I look at people, and it was something I read, that you have to have a bunny rabbit, somebody that you follow, right? So I look at other people, and I think I said this about Supercar Blondie and other friends, Nadia Zal, and people that I know, and I think, okay, they've achieved so much. I'd love, to achieve what they are achieving, but I don't want to be them. I don't want to be in the area that they're doing. And I actually want a little bit less than them, because I feel like the amount or the drive they have in them, sometimes you can't stop, right? Where do you go from there? It becomes so big because you're so driven. And I think I was back there when I was younger. I'm 50 now this year. So I actually want to have a quieter life. And I think what I've really tried to do is maintain businesses that we have control of. So if I look at what we're building now, Bali we're going fully into the longevity. I love it. I love feeling healthy, even though I have my wild side once in a while. I want, then as soon as I do that, I want to go and do, to the gym, and I want to take my peptides, and I want to, walk, and I don't want to see alcohol for however long. Like, it's been Christmas, so it's been night. So I love that side. I'm not saying that I'm going to be this health guru freak that, goes to bed at 7 and sleeps 18 hours or whatever it is, and doesn't see their friends and lives in some cryo chamber. Absolutely not. I'm just saying that I'm creating spaces to give me space, right? So Bali is now well underway, and it's really exciting. And our partners are amazing, and they're all friends. And that will be a place that we just all go to relax. And I think this year is just about like achieving my goals, but like without putting myself under so much stress. So like we have a lot of friends, and I said to myself the other day, I've got to learn to say no. I'm not going out every night. I'm not doing it anymore. Not interested. As much as I love my friends, I can't do it. We are gone for the whole of February. Like our lives are nuts. It's so important that we have time off. I am gone to LA for February. So, I want to take this time, because once I get to LA, it will be crazy again. I'm taking my son. We're going to football. We've got the shopping channel. We've got the Traitors reunion. Like, we're talking about going skiing there. I'm staying with a girlfriend, so we're never going to be alone. So this month, I need to take a little time for myself. I'm going to, also take time for me and Sergio, because although we're always together, obviously I've had 6 kids in the house, 6 teenagers. I have not had one break this holiday because all the teenagers have been in my house for the last 3 weeks. My housekeepers haven't had a break. We haven't had a break. When I come home, maybe at night, there's 10 teenagers downstairs. My fridge is empty. The shopping that goes into teenagers, I don't know about you, but my sons will eat 3 steaks in one sitting. 3. Like, they don't leave my house now till the 7th they go to their father. And so I have had them this entire time. It has been absolutely nuts. And people look at me and go, oh, you're just at home. I'm not just at home, but obviously my teenagers aren't on my social media for many reasons, as I've said before. And, it is mad what is going on in my home. And so, no, I'm not sitting here just filing my nails all day. I am running around, making the house feel like Christmas, because obviously when they come home, doing all the gifts, doing all their beds, doing all their food, the menus that go into 6 children in the house every single day, right? I actually had to hire someone else to come in and help every day, because there's so many beds, there's so many this. It's like a little mini hotel. I mean, if anyone was going to get ready for Bali, I just have. Not to mention, I got the most beautiful message from our partners in Pemba. And all of you that are asking about Pemba, that's just off Zanzibar, about 20 minutes from Zanzibar. And, that house we've almost finished designing, and I'm really excited to share it with you all. But like, obviously sometimes I'm like, oh, what have I done to deserve this? Or but why haven't I deserved this? I put this whole thing together, and it really was my dream to make a community for like-minded people, which is, again, that house is going to give me, solitude. So like, when my kids are at university now, that's where I'll go, and they'll all come and they'll bring their friends. And it's like I've literally painted my dream life. And I've kept all my old vision boards. They're in my cupboard, so I like to go back. But like, if I think about the little wins that turned into big wins this year, and they're hard to see as you're going along how big they are, that's why it's so nice to look back. I'm so excited because if I've achieved that in 1 year, and the last 2 years, even the last 3 years, I got all the things I wished for. And even if they're superficial and whatever, but I have a business that brings me, that will pay me when I'm older. I've built real assets that, will make sure Sergio and I have a nice life for the rest of my life and his life. We have passive income that we can, wake up and the brands are paying us. So our bills are paid. I'm building a brand within Shop LC, that will hopefully be something that just continues and grows. And obviously we've had a lot of teething problems with getting that off the ground because I've never done something like this before. And, also I think we're a brand that doesn't work in the States for them. So that's, we're very far away. So timing, shipping, distribution, it's been really difficult to get that off the ground, but we persevered. And there have been times where I'm sure they wanted to say no, and we've wanted to say, oh my God, it's not worth it. And now here we are, we're about to launch again with them. And hopefully that's going to be a very big, very ongoing relationship. And these are businesses that don't require our faces, right? So no matter what happens, I think the TV show, as much as it's amazing, and I've always wished for my own TV show, it does take your eye off your other businesses because you're in constant panic mode and constant defense. And now I've had all the time, I am, really working on what I love, which has always been building interiors, things like this. I'm about to flip 2 of my apartments. And all this work has come together, and now I really see who we are. Like, we're property developers. We are, big into the age gap and teaching business to women that have maybe lost their lives, but lost their husbands and the life they knew, or are scared to take the next step. And they watch me and Sergio, and I think, because you could never have imagined that Sergio and I will be, now we were laughing at lunch yesterday. Now Sergio's rich. He's rich and good looking, right? And I had a girlfriend of mine saying yesterday, she's been single probably 4 or 5 years. She goes, oh, I just want really established, very good looking and rich. And an amazing, good dresser and this and that. And I said, well, that's why you're single. And I said, because, Sergio was a fixer-upper. Now she's like, oh, look at him now. He looks like a Ralph Lauren ad. And I'm like, yes, he does. He really does look like a Ralph Lauren ad. And now he's got real money too. And I'm like, but when I met him, none of you wanted him. You wouldn't have looked at him. He didn't know what job he wanted to do. He'd just been to university. He didn't know anyone here. It was like, you absolutely, I took the chance. Not only did I take the chance, I built him into the man I needed him to be and to be the best partner for me and my kids. But you're not prepared to do that work, which is very much like the business side. And that is why, again, Sergio and I are so connected, because he knows that I built him into the man he is today. And, kudos to him too, by the way, because he let me, right? But very many times, like my ex-husband, again, as well, like so many things we did together, and because of me and my network, also built him in certain ways, right? Like, as much as men hate to say their wives, that's what they do, right? We tend to take care of the personal stuff and the introductions and the parties and elevating them in certain ways. And I think that has really become very apparent now that you see the man that I met, who's from the man today. that he has, absolutely become this amazing powerhouse. And, he's only going to rise from here. And that's because I've given him the comfort, the freedom, the chance to take the risk and to do all these things. And he stepped into his own, although even now he says he still likes me to take control and be in control of us. We are very much a team, and he very much takes care of the things I need him to do, but he doesn't, not do also the little things. Like, we have all the kids here, right? So he helps me clean up. He takes the dogs out. He, at night when I don't want to, he brings me breakfast in bed. He appreciates me for all the things that I've given him. And we sit back and we go, look at what we have achieved. Now we don't have to worry so much about our old age or what that's going to look like, or how, we're going to continue our career because maybe the TV show doesn't come back. Or, maybe we get older and like our faces have gone. All these businesses we've built are going to take care of us for many, many years, regardless of how we look. And, we all have built major assets now. And it's crazy. We literally made something out of nothing. I mean, my neighbor just sold their house for an actual fortune. I'm sitting here going, oh God, maybe I should quickly sell. Like a real fortune, millions and millions of dollars. And I was like, hers was undone. Mine's done up. I'm like, wow, we have been here. We got here. We took the risk to move to Dubai before it was what it is now, where every single person wants to be here. I think 18 million people have visited in the last 2 months or something nuts. I don't know, but I came way before everyone thought this was a good idea. And so, no, it's not lucky that I had this house and lucky that I did that. I took the chance. I took the risk. I just got here first. And so that's what I want to say. You make your own luck, your own joy, your own path in life, right? And it's like the women that sometimes go, oh, your retreat is expensive. I don't know, whatever. That's okay. Then it's not for you, right? The ones that want to come, they take the risk, they take the chance. They want to either meet me, they want to meet other women, they want maybe a connection, they want to feel connected to other people. I don't know what it is that gets them there. But those people that took that chance, they're the ones that win in a certain way. And whether it's my retreat or something else that's calling you, you have to take a risk. There's always a plan. Sometimes it's like when you've worked really hard and you go, okay, I would love to go on that holiday to raise your, maybe you meet people in the hotel. If you can go to a really cheap hotel or a more expensive hotel where you raise your vibration because you're walking through and you're going to meet like-minded people. That's what it is, right? So yes, you can go to a budget hotel and stay in the same sort of place, but that's the level of person you're going to meet. And that's the level of conversation you're going to have. So if you want to put yourself in rooms with different types of people, or lie by the pool next to people that will elevate you and maybe get talking to, or come to a retreat where all the women have spent this type of money to get there, that's what you have to do. You have to spend money to make money. And that's just a given. And I think that's an important lesson. You can't, if you hold on and are always going, not investing in yourself in any way, that's even with the clothes or the makeup or whatever it is, once you invest in yourself, a good haircut, people see it, people notice it. And I hate to say it, but it does. It elevates the way people look at you. And ladies, it's important. So start your new year right. Start thinking about how you're going to elevate yourself this year. Whatever that looks like for you, it doesn't have to be huge. Do not put yourself into debt, but elevate your lifestyle. And if you elevate your lifestyle, you are rewarded for it. When I have realized which rooms I no longer want to be in, I'm not getting out of bed for, which rooms I'm going to put myself in, who brings me joy to talk to, and I feel like I've actually learned something. I was at dinner with one of the most powerful men in the world last night, and I could just sit and listen to him all day long. All day long. So I think look around you, elevate your life in whatever that looks like for you. Cut out the noise. Stop listening to other people's opinions. Stop saying I can't, because then you believe it. Say I can. And just, if you hear no, so what? I've heard no a million times. I've lost businesses, made businesses, heard no, people laughed. And now, you know what? They're all in shock as Sergio and I are building our dream home, our dream hotel. You know, you guys are listening to my podcast more than ever. My retreats are built. You're staying in my apartments. Laugh away. Laugh away. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for following us, staying with us, and watching our journey. And the best is yet to come. This year is a very big year. You're going to see everything come to fruition. You're going to see all the exciting stuff. So keep watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Lots of love.